Good evening. My name is Annie Conboy and I'm a medium and psychic, and this broadcast, my letter from the light side, is my guides and inspirers messages to you for this week about the energy that we're working in and the things that we can expect to be dealing with in the next week or two. Uh, I've just been sitting quietly for a few minutes getting ready. I oh, that's the connection coming in. I always have that slight nervousness. Are they going to step forward this evening? What are they going to say? Of course, my main broadcast guide, Rafe, is always here to direct the action, so to speak. So he's here this evening, and he's always very gentle and reminds me that this is something you've been doing for a long time, and it will all work perfectly. But I guess that's part of the energy that we're working with at the moment. We are going through cycles of energy to help us in our transformation. And it's important to remember that when we transform, it isn't always easy and smooth. And it isn't always exactly as we imagined. What we wish for, what we dream of, can be very different when it actually comes in. It can seem like, yes, I did ask for that, but it's not quite this way. So you might have found this week that things have been happening, wishes are being answered, but almost as if not quite the way that I thought it was going to be. There's a lot of options open to us when it's a time of transformation. And Rafe always says to me, consider all the options, even the ones you don't think you have, before you make a final decision. So this week you might also have found that you were going a bit back over old things and going, am I doing the right thing? Is it you might also have found that you've had one or two restless nights as the energy shifts and things start to turn into what you want them to be, and you've been feeling like, is this really, really what I came here for? Is this really the stuff that I wanted in my life? And also, you might have found in this last week, because it's been a quieter energy time, a period a bit more of reflection, you might have felt like you were thinking back over the past. You might have been reviewing things and wondering why you've got these patterns or why this keeps happening. And this is all part of, Rafe says, the process of transforming, of seeing what we're doing and then saying, well, actually, I need to change that because that doesn't suit me anymore. So when you think about the year that we've had, and he's had me pondering the year in great depth this week, kind of from a what happened this year and how did it turn out like that, and why might it have been like that, and what did I call on myself, what was I focused on that maybe if I hadn't been focused on it, the year would have gone a bit more smoothly. So I've been on that little wander, just reflecting on the year. I love it actually, because this time of year, that always happens for me. It's a very thoughtful time of the year. But Rafe particularly was asking me to look at how different I am now to where I started the year, and I think that's really something that's sort of hit me this week, is the sense of where are we now? Where am I now? Where's the world now? We came into this year hoping that we'd found some solutions, or that we had ways of going forward that would lighten our load, if you like, and yet we've still been in a cycle of turbulent energy, still in this cycle of trying to find a way through all the challenges that are facing us at the moment. So if you spent the week thinking about what just happened in respect of 2022, no surprise. Of course, as Rafe says, we're prepping ourselves for the new energy. 2022, we're not in 2022 yet. Just realised. We're busy prepping ourselves for 2022. Maybe we're having a massive leap through time. The whole world is going to leap and we'll miss out 2022 altogether. I hope not, because, you know, that means I get a year less of living. Sorry, I'm just having a little laugh because I've got my gatekeeper guide with me as well. I've been having some interesting conversations with Wolf about about his take on how we work with the animal kingdom and how we put together kind of the universe, the unified, the wholeness of a world. And particularly, Wolf and I have been talking about things affecting the animal kingdom and the planet, and how do we change minds and hearts in order to start to take actions that are going to help the other beings who inhabit this planet, and to think about how we transform from where we are now in this turbulent energy where it all seems full of issues and arguments and division, and what ways we can move on to get through this transformation, to say yes to a positive future. It's very easy to get lost in doom and gloom, and Wolf this week has been kind of chatting with me about the things we don't, if we don't envisage a positive outcome, then what we get is the outcome that isn't positive. It makes sense when you think about it. If we're always thinking it's going to be doom and gloom, guess what? It's doom and gloom. And Wolf has been very clear to me this week, and he's here this evening to say the transformation process is not easy, because we often have to shift the patterns that seem like they've been rigidly held forever. But actually those patterns haven't been rigidly held for any length of time, really. And that we have to start embracing that we have got solutions, we have got things that we can do, but it might mean that our personal choices are a bit more limited, or feel a bit more restricted. But that if we look at it from the right way around, what we're actually doing is choosing to have a positive outcome. And that means that we can look at things and say, right, okay, I can't have this, but I can have that. And if I have that, everybody benefits. So keeping that focus in the mind on we can solve it. We have so much talent. That's what Wolf's been sort of shrugging all week and kind of going, we've got so much talent, such inventive people on the planet. And sometimes necessity is the mother of invention. A lot of the things we've invented have come from the need, the absolute need to. And if we can trust and hope and say yes to the ideas coming forward and to the solutions that are being presented, if we can keep a focus not on disaster but on success, we make a huge difference to shaping the energy as it's coming through to us. And so for each and every one of us, that means feeling like we can do it, getting ourselves to the place where we feel, yes, I can do this, yes, this difference can happen, yes, I have a piece of the puzzle in my hands that I can contribute so it solves these issues, and saying yes to being the one who talks about the positive. Wolf's view is that it's so easy for us to get blown off track, to look back and feel like we haven't done enough, instead of look back and say, well, this is all I have done, but I can do more. he very much, I'm sorry, I'm laughing because he's reminding me of the first time that we sort of started to connect. And I hadn't a clue. I really hadn't a clue. All I was getting was tingly feelings. Didn't know what it was about. And yet here I am having conversations with him, sitting down and having a chat when I've got something I need to work through in my head. And having this easy, relaxed, flowing sense of his presence, compared to what we first had, which was a load of tingles, and me having to be a little bit inspired and a little bit inventive to try and kind of make sense of what that was all about, why I was getting these little odd sensations. And it's that thing about recognizing that we've got to do our best to keep shining our light. We've got to recognise that things are a work in progress. We won't get an answer immediately yet because it takes a lot of belief. I'm just laughing because the moment I started to believe in my mediumship was the moment it started to get easy. Up until then, it had been hard. It really had. And when I started to believe in my mediumship, I had the most wonderful gift of starting to work with the Earth's archangels, the guardian angels who position themselves in this dimension to help us specifically to overcome these transitional challenges. And so it's remembering that there's always something else that's an add-on when we get these transition moments and we take these leaps of faith. We trust in ourselves. I have the greatest trust in humanity, especially all these wonderful crystal children who are popping up all over the place. They're soon to be coming into their full powers. Their insight, their spirituality, their wisdom is amazing. They know that we have things to do, and they're here to remind us because they're the ones who'll inherit whatever it is we do. And as we go into perhaps the winter time of reflection and deep thinking, it is important to remember that we are in it together. It's not about me, it's not about anybody individually, it's about us as a collective consciousness. And the thing that our guides are trying to help us to see is that we're birthing a new age. We need a new earth and a new age for these young people, for the children that are coming in. We've got to leave them in a better position than we've currently found the planet. We've got to leave them with lives that are happy and fulfilled. We've got to bring our best wisdom to the issues that we face, and we've got to find that strength to unite and to make it a vision we can all hold, because when we all can hold the vision, there's a stronger energy making it happen. So it's a really interesting time. We're going to go back into a bit of turbulence. Rafe says there's no other way to say it. We're going back into a bit of mixed and muddled energy. But this time, the energy is about the frustration of trying to make this change happen. So you might find over the next week or 10 days that you feel a little bit frustrated, that the world seems frustrated, that people are bickering with one another about how we do it, rather than agreeing that we need to do it. That's what division usually brings. Instead of everybody saying, yeah, in general we all know we need to do this, we get into so much detail that we forget the bigger ask that's being asked of us. So just be light with yourself. Just remember that it's okay to be in the detail, but at times you've got to step out and look at the bigger picture. Look at the bigger picture and envision what will come when you've done the actions that need doing. What will come when the world has done the actions that need doing. And we will. We will get there. I have every faith in humanity. It's a question of, do we make it an easy birthing of a new age, or do we make it a rather hard journey, a hard labour instead of an easy labour? And of course it sounds somewhat contradictory, says Rafe, to talk about labour as being easy, but he's wanting to remind you, look how far you've come, in spite of the challenges you've had in your life. Look how much you still dream and hope for a world of love and peace. Look how much we've given as humans to the idea of peace and unity. We might not have gone about it the best possible way. That's an argument we could have. But what we've got within us is still that hope for unity, for oneness, for an understanding of being human as a united task, or a united way of being, and that we can be the caretakers and gardeners of this planet to make things more beautiful. That the battles we've fought have been about ideas, have been about what one person or one group of people think about above another group of people. But in the end, there's something in the human spirit which wants to fight in a not an aggressive way, but wants to ensure that we continue and that we are united together. There's something so strong. We fall out in lumps, but we still have shared humanity, a shared vision of a peaceful, loving life going forward for everybody. And that's the thing that gives the guides and inspirers hope, is that we can get that sense of it. And over the next week or so, that sense of it is going to be coming up in front of you. You're going to be asked to notice where it's better to be united and where it's better to say, I can't join in that. Because it doesn't promote the best possible outcomes for everybody. And that's a piece of thinking we've got to do now. We still have these serious issues, and we still have to work out how we're going to do things so that everybody benefits. That's another kind of ask. So over the next week, if you're presented with that question, how do I do this so everybody benefits? Don't forget to include yourself in the everybody, and don't forget to look at it from a positive outcome. We're riding into a full moon, so the energy is going to be strong. The making it so energy, bring out your wish list, put the power and the emotion and the desire into wishing for that peaceful world, wishing for that united future, wishing for our children not to have the challenges we've been given. Let's give them some nice challenges, shall we? Let's think about a future where the only challenges are nice ones. How wonderful would that be? We would grow in a different way, but it would be so nice to have that sense that what we passed on to the children was, and the children's 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 children, was some sense of contentment, some sense of being able to rise to the challenge, but the challenge being something that draws you forward, not necessarily sets you back. We've had a few, we're in the time of challenges that can set us back if we don't recognise the human spirit that's involved in this. if we think that we're powerless, if we decide that we can't do any more, or we're not, it's not possible, or what, you know, we've got this wonderful opportunity to lead by example. So in the week that comes, try to give yourself some thinking time. Don't leap into a reaction. Pause, consider. It is that winter reflection. Give yourself those few moments to say, what do I really feel about this? What is this that's unfolding in front of me? What is this challenging? Is this something that is potentially going to dim my light? Is this something that's going to switch me off rather than switch me on into doing the best that I possibly can? We've got a tussle going on in the world about how we collectively work as human beings. That's the real nitty-gritty of what's happening at a global, international, country, community level. It's about how are we going to make the best of working together? How do we cooperate and keep ourselves focused on doing the things that will take us closer to that beautiful ideal vision that we hold for our children? So be the holder of the vision. Be the one who steps back and says, let's look at the bigger picture. We're talking detail here, and maybe detail isn't the time. It isn't the time for detail. You know, sometimes we have to be active, not reflective. Sometimes we have to get on with it. Well, if we're going to get on with it, let's use this little period of time while the skies are giving us the signals to reflect in the northern hemisphere. Let's use this time. Let's use the turbulence of this energy to remind ourselves things do need to change, that it is a natural part of our evolution, and that uncertainty is actually, I've come to the conclusion, that Rafe's always been telling me this, uncertainty is the place where a human being is most comfortable. I've argued, believe you me, I've argued, no, I like to be certain. But actually, he's right. The sense of being alive is strong when we are uncertain, when we're a little bit on the edge, when we know that maybe to move forward, we've got to shift something in us. And that makes us appreciate life, appreciate being alive. I'd like to be able to go back to the afterlife and say, boy, I had a really good ride. It was a bit up and down. I didn't always get it right, but I felt alive most of my life. So in this week of energy, in the next few weeks, feel the sense of aliveness within you, the options that you have, the ways in which you can have a life that you want. Don't put your chin on your chest and say, oh, it'll never happen for me. Everybody's upside down, the world's upside down. Get your chin up. Tell yourself, I can choose. I am in a position where I can do it differently. Change the inner world and the outer world shifts too. That's the important thing. That's the thing to love about it, is that change the world. Change the world. It's change us. Be in us. Change us. That's how we do it. Transform. Keep the focus and the wonderful transformational energy that's happening right now, and help it guide you forward. Your guides are waiting, just like lovely Wolf was waiting. Bless him. It was ages before I recognised the tingly feeling. I write about it in my book. He was so patient with me. He must have been so frustrated. bless him. Because it took, for the penny to drop, it took ages. But when it did, I took up the challenge. I thought, oh, what's this? And I worked it out, and I went further. I got myself into a position of, yeah, let's try this. And I just want to share that lovely energy with you. Yes, let's try this. Let's try this as individuals inside us. Let's try to see the world in a beautiful state, to see the world green and glowing, to see healthy, happy individuals, to see the animals thriving, to see the beauty of it all that's there if we could just make it happen. Because we can. And finally, Wolf would encourage you next week, or in the energy that's coming up, to keep saying, I can. Sometimes we have to convince ourselves that we can, and then suddenly we can. Sometimes we have to go, I'm not sure, but I'm going to try because I know I can. And somewhere along the line, that belief clicks into that sense of materializing what you want, how you want your world to be, so you can transform. You can shine your beautiful light to everyone. You can say yes to these new, beautiful spiritual opportunities, and you can birth a new world. You know what? The best thing we can do is to talk to the younger people around us, to the children especially. They know this anyway. Let's acknowledge for them that we are on a mission. We are on the journey to making their world and their future as bright as we possibly can. Thank you for listening, everybody. I hope that you can take some of that. Thank you to everybody who watched live. I'm on YouTube and I'm on Facebook Live at the moment. So thank you to everybody who's watching, wherever you're watching. Thank you also to everybody who watches on Catch Up. It's really lovely in the midst of all the hecticness of life to see your comments and to see that you've mentioned it and shared it, and that the letters have meant something for you. I really do appreciate it, and I know that the guides really appreciate having their 15 or 20 minutes, however long it's been, with you to say what they need to say. Have a good week, and I'll be back next Thursday. I think I'm on a full moon next time. That'll be good. If I get any sleep, that'll be amazing. Take care, everyone. Bye.